There was once two frogs. So there was one frog who lived in a well, and then there was another frog which lived in the ocean or the sea. And it's a Buddhist parable. It's about how this frog who lived in the well thought that the well was the biggest thing on the planet. And one day it so happened that the ocean sea frog came to see the well frog. And while they were sitting down and chatting, the well frog, the Zingibab, thought he wanted to boast, I guess, or flex, as they say nowadays. So he said, how big is your ocean? Is it like the quarter the size of my well? And the sea frog casually said, no, it's much bigger. Like he pressed on. So he said, is it half as big as my pond? To which the sea frog again casually answered, no, it's much bigger. Finally he said, is it as big? Are you telling me that your sea is as big as my well? So the sea frog said, no, it's much bigger. The well frog couldn't believe that there could be anything bigger than his well. So the next day they set off to the sea to see for himself how big the sea was. And as the story goes, it's like when they finally reached the shore, beach, and they looked out into the sea, the Zingibab, the well frog, couldn't believe it, and his head burst. Hi, my name is Karma Demrup, and this is a post I do weekly, every Wednesday. I have named it #MyTake, and we are going in an alphabetical order. And today the alphabet is O, and what I wanted to share about with regard to O is openness. The reason why I shared this story is because many of us, we get into a kind of like a rut, or we tend to believe that where we live or our life is the entire world. For instance, say people like me who live in Thimphu, we think that Thimphu is the rest of Bhutan, which, thanks to having worked in the BBS, I had the good fortune of visiting all 20 Dzongkhas. Thimphu is not all of Bhutan. Similarly, people who live in Western Bhutan think that, Western Bhutan, the Ngalongs, that's the whole of Bhutan. Same thing, I guess, applies for people in Eastern Bhutan. We think that, the Shachops, our problems are our problems. Nobody else in the country seems to be familiar with what we are going through. Same applies to the Lhotsam area and to the highlands as well. Which is not true, because at the end of the day, under one king and under one government, all our cares, and in some sense, all our cares and concerns, we share a collective care and concern with regard to national problems and national issues. And similarly, as Bhutanese as well, also, we think that like a bubble mentality. And I'm guilty of this myself, because when I used to study in Delhi before, when I was attending my college there, I used to joke and say that at that point in time, there were, I think, a little less than 700 of us Bhutanese on the planet. And I used to joke and say that, we Bhutanese should get like a priority lane in airports, like a green lane or red lane or whatever it's called, because there's so few of us. Just like the endangered species here in Bhutan, be it the black-necked crane or the white-bellied heron. So I used to joke that we need a priority lane because we are endangered. But jokes aside, I think this Zingibab mentality does more harm than it does good. Not only on a national level, but even in households, in relationships, whether your boyfriend, girlfriend, whether your partners, husband and wife, having this Zingibab mentality, it's like thinking that my well is my world, thinking that my care, my concern, my problems are my own, doesn't let you grow any sense of empathy towards your partner, can't see things from their perspective. And all of this, in some sense, ironically makes what you believe true. And the fact of the matter is that there are many perspectives. There are over, close to 8 billion people on the planet. And when you think about the odds of having met somebody you love, in some of the posts that I make to my wife, I always say that, what a honor, what a privilege, what a magical, what a miracle that from billions of people we found each other. That's what I wanted to share today, not anything deep. One thing that I also wanted to share was with regard to openness is prayer, because very recently one of my friends, childhood friends, shared with me that he doesn't pray. And my objective is not to make people pray, but to change your perception about prayer. Because I pray like minimum twice a day, one in the morning and one in the evening. But I don't pray in a sense of superstitious, old, traditional kind of way. For me, when I sit down to prayer, I sit down to be open. And I think that's what prayer should become. It should become openness. You should sit down for your prayer session, and when you stand up from it, you're able to see things from a different person's perspective at best. And those of you who know me, I have always been pro LGBTQ plus. I can't imagine, even when I was working in office, how some transgender staff were treated. And while I can only imagine what it feels like to wake up in the morning and see the world from whatever your sexual orientation is or your religious belief is, I can empathize with the fact, because of my vision loss, that it's how a person who is disabled, I still have a trouble calling myself that. So I empathize with everybody who has a different, who doesn't so-called fit into the norm of what we have deemed to be normal. And you know where that got us with the recent pandemic and the COVID and many outbreaks still happening in the world. Until all of us are safe, no one is safe. That's a lesson that I take from COVID, and I feel that's what it means when we as Buddhists, be it Mahayana or Vajrayana, when we say that Manam Khadanyam Bisemche Thamche, is that, unless all sentient beings are safe, no one is safe. And all of us are going through our own path. All of us are going through our own challenges. And I hope that if this video makes you look at another person and empathize and not discount other people's pain, and I feel that what I wanted to achieve with this video has been achieved. So thank you. You can find the rest of my videos here on TikTok in the gallery, or on Instagram in my gallery, or Facebook on my wall, or on YouTube on the Bodhi Tree Bhutan channel. And I hope all of you are having a great summer vacation. We definitely are. And thank you all who took the time to wish me yesterday on my birthday. It means a lot. Lastly, don't forget to analyze and realize.